All right, hey guys, welcome to a surprise show. We were gonna have this earlier, but you know what? When it comes to me and Tina leading a show, you never know when the show is gonna be. We're gonna
I
change our
mean,
minds. We're gonna move it. You know,
things
that's
happen.
life.
It's okay.
So luckily, these two lovely ladies up here were gracious enough to still join today on a Tuesday. So I really appreciate that. And today we're talking about our favorite shoujo manga, because when I think about shoujo manga, I think about all these fellow women with me who are also into shoujo and magical girls just as much as me. But I'd let you guys introduce yourself. Alicia, if you want to start.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Lisha Rae. I'm Kiss a Frog Cosplay. I'm from West Virginia. I've been cosplaying and wearing J fashion for about 7 years. And I'm an internationally traveled cosplayer, award winning cosplayer. And I run a maid cafe at my home convention, SubasaCon. Got a shout out to Sue. And I've just kind of taken it kind of low key this year, and I haven't done a whole lot of content with the pandemic going on. I've had other things happen, but I'm still in the game for now.
Where can we find you? Like, what are your social medias?
I am at Miss Lisha Rae on Instagram. I am Kiss a Frog Cosplay on Facebook, and I am at Lisha Rae on Twitter. Your best bet if you want to really interact with me is Twitter, so at Lisha Rae.
All right, Ebby.
What's up, you guys? My name is Ebby. I go by Chibi Magical Girl. I've been cosplaying for 10 years. Pretty much my main focus with as a cosplayer, I usually cosplay from a lot of magical girl and shoujo based genres. I haven't been in any type of like into the conventions, but I do a lot of self-making and sewing, crafting with cosplaying. I really want to get into competitions in the next maybe year or two, but I do a lot of sewing, work in progress pictures and everything like that. So where you can find me at is Chibi Magical Girl on Instagram and Twitter. No, wait, hold on. Chibi Magical Girl on Twitter. No, wait.
If you forget, it's okay. I put both of your guys' social in the description of the video.
It's Chibi Magic Girl. It's so crazy because Twitter's like characters run out. So I put Chibi Magic Girl on Twitter, Chibi Magical Girl on Facebook and Twitter. So the way you can actually interact with me more, I mean, I'm on Instagram too, especially posting more on stories, but you can also find me on Twitter more often.
Welcome. So real quick, Chan is so excited. Hey, all you mentees. I don't know what a shoujo is, but let's go. Perfect way to start off. So shoujo is a type of manga. It's like a manga genre. Basically, essentially, it's directed towards girls. I mean, shoujo just means girl. So it's just girl manga. And we'll be talking about like what we like in that genre as a whole. And I think we'll probably end up throwing in josei too, which is like the older girls and women. It just naturally all falls in the same category for me. A lot of slice of life, a lot of magical girl stuff, but it's a really broad genre too. Like I know we have a lot of like men as well that watch this channel, men and non-binary, but like to me shoujo can be for anyone. It can still be tough, or it can deal with traumatic situations. Like the genre's big.
It's very diverse and wide, much like the shonen. Like this is sort of like the girls aspect, or was created for the girls aspect, but it's branched out a lot, especially in later years.
Oh yeah. And hi to everybody else. Hi Raphael. This says hello from Brazil, ladies.
Hey.
Welcome, Jess Mason. Hey Paige. Lyric asked, we also talk about anime in the future. We have before, and I'm sure that Alicia and Ebby would come back to hang out with us. Talk about it. Because I've been watching a lot of anime in the pandemic, weirdly.
Yes.
Weirdly?
It feels weird.
I mean, that's all I want. I'm just
doing anything feels weird.
Animated.
Well, I guess let's get into it. If you want to talk, if anyone wants to start off, talk about some of your favorite shoujo, we can just like
I guess don't talk.
I mean, can we just start with the GOAT here, Sailor Moon?
Well,
absolutely. Yeah, Sailor Moon is my absolute favorite. I remember reading the mix translations, the little books. Yeah, that one. But I didn't start reading them until I think I was about 9 years old. I had seen my first episode of Sailor Moon on Toonami at like 4 o'clock. I was at my dad's house and I was like, oh my God, holy shit, this is so cool. And then my mom bought me, it was the Supers. So it was the 4 Supers books that I read first before the original 12 Sailor Moon books. And I absolutely fell in love. I loved the outfits and the transformations and the art style. And I have been magical girl trash ever since. And I'll be 30 next month. And Sailor Moon was my first and my favorite.
Well, and 3 of us have cosplay from Sailor Moon.
Yes.
Yes.
Jupiter's my girl. I was raised on Sailor Moon. I feel like it started because people who watch the channel, they know I'm into comic books, but manga is my love first. And Sailor Moon was such a big part of my childhood. And now it hasn't changed.
I mean, I just made a joke on TikTok about Melvin from Sailor Moon today, so it's embedded in me.
Real quick, we do have a super chat from Meow Nyan. Good to see you. Who's asking for you guys? Which of these do you consider to be the best shoujo like mech anime?
Escaflowne.
Yeah, definitely Escaflowne.
Alan was my guy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Same. I love Clamp, but I mean,
like his drawing now, like going back and looking at it, sometimes I'm like, did he really have that big of a nose? But no, he's still pretty hot. But man,
well, I guess we can talk magical girls first.
Yeah. So, Maddie, what's your favorite magical girl besides Sailor Moon?
Yeah, I'd say well,
yeah.
Oh man, so many I've like started to fall in love with more recently, like the cutie honey stuff or like Madoka.
Madoka Magica.
Yeah, but I mean, Sailor Moon is. It's it. Tokyo Mew Mew I loved when I was younger too.
Me too.
Is that the proper name? Because we got a weird one.
Yeah,
right?
Tokyo Mew Mew. Tokyo Mew Mew.
Tokyo Mew Mew.
Okay,
I used to
couldn't
say Mew Mew Power at one point when it first came over here. It was just Mew Mew Power.
Mew Mew Power.
Yeah.
I know there's more. Anyways, but
Pretty Cure. Pretty Cure.
Pretty Cure.
I do love.
Pretty Cure.
I like
Mommy. Pretty Cure too.
And I guess you could count Ray Earth technically, right?
Yes.
Girl.
Yes.
I mean,
Mermaid Melody and Shoujo Tara.
Yeah, Shoujo Tara. Oh man, bringing back serious memories of like going to the library when I was younger and reading all of this manga and remembering that and like bringing back memories of how I wanted to dress like every single one of these girls. And then I grew up and became a nerd and I'm like,
yes,
I can do this.
Yeah. Like my mom made me a Sailor Jupiter costume when I was like 8.
Uh-huh.
It's the cutest.
You've put it in your profile picture.
Every Halloween.
So cute.
I switch it back to that picture. Even though she put it in pigtails instead of the ponytail, which is wrong, but it's okay. It's fine. Oh man, Miana is just like killing it. Ask if there's any Karekano or Nonome Cantabile fans. So Karekano is also His and Her Circumstances.
Yes.
Do you guys read that?
Uh-huh.
I haven't. I'm not familiar.
I actually got into it only a few episodes when I was younger. I actually have like maybe 2 volumes of the DVD on my collection right now. But it starts off with I forgot her name, Yukino. She's kind of like this in school. She's like this elegant, this and that. She's the perfect girl. So when she's home, she's just this rotten, evil girl. And then so the dude, like in her class, is like second best. He actually figures out who she really is inside. And she's actually more, as I think as the series progresses, I haven't finished reading it or watching it, but she kind of blossoms and become who she really is and kind of be more comfortable with him. You meet all these different people. But it's really good. It's pretty much really one of the most classic ones, which I still enjoy. Hopefully, I really want to get back into it. It's just hard to find the manga now.
Yeah, that's the thing too.
I mean, it gives me a lot of Nana and like Princess Jellyfish feels, which are
yes.
We can talk about those. Go ahead. Shoujo beat.
So Princess Jellyfish was like sort of like that nerd girl, like sort of group, like loner and stuff. And then she does the exact same thing. And I think that's sort of like a theme with shoujo is like this blossoming into womanhood, finding your own.
Yeah.
And especially with friends, like it's a lot of them are like a group of 3 friends, and they're all sort of like together against like some type of antagonistic thing, but they all kind of blossom together, and it's really supportive. Like they support each other. Of course, there's drama going on, but it's so nice to see them blossom into something.
They need to make a season 2. I don't know what they're trying to do.
Who knows?
Season 2.
Well, man, speaking of like Princess Jellyfish too, like some of the shoujo manga like that, I really appreciate because, I feel like with shoujo you do get a lot of opportunities for like gender expression in a really neat way, and also like LGBT issues too. Like, there's so many good shoujo representations of that now.
Mm-hmm.
And like Utena.
Yeah.
Like, like Utena's got to be one of my all-time favorites of like shoujo manga, because it's so different, and it doesn't like, you're still dealing with like heavy topics, and you're still dealing with transformations, but you're also dealing with this amazing bisexual protagonist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who, like, and all these like handsome guys and handsome girls, and like all this sword fighting, and like how I just wanted to be Utena growing up so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, if you didn't want to be Sailor Moon or Utena, then I don't know what was wrong with you, because that's like the major 2. You're like, I want to be Anthe, I want to be Utena, I want to be Sailor Moon or Sailor Mercury, I want to be Sailor Pluto or Neptune. Like that's who you want it to be.
I wanted to be Serenity, and I ended up cosplaying Serenity a couple of years ago just because I have always loved her gown. I've always loved that outfit. Yeah. And then I got the outfit, and I'm like, I don't know how she wore this and ran around and fought crime, because this is heavy.
Well, Ebby, you've cosplayed Anthe too, right?
Yes. I'm hoping, I really want to take my time really, really good and actually remake the whole thing, because I made it back in, was it 2015, 16, maybe 17? I don't know
what doesn't make any sense. But
it was like where I learn a lot more based off like craftsmanship and finishing and bias tape and everything over those last few years. So I really want to take my time and reconstruct her perfectly, because when I actually got into Utena when I was like younger, I did not know what hell was going on. Honestly, it was just sword fighting. So I remember like then this, like she was the same tone as me, and I was like, wow, who is she? And she was known as the Rose Bride. So eventually when I took up cosplaying, I said, well, Anthe is going to be that one character I actually cosplay as until I get better at sewing and craftsmanship. I'm gonna go ahead and actually knock her out. So years later, I cosplay as her, and then now I want to actually take my time and remake her. And like I said, she was pretty much one of the few dark-skinned people of color magical girls I've seen, other than Aisha or Layla from Winx Club and Tarani Cook from Witch. So those are like the only 3 I seen like growing up at the time. So I love the fact that magical girl genre is actually getting more diversified, is actually getting more based off gentrification, LGBT. It's a wonderful experience. You actually see it grow than what it was back in the 90s or the 80s up to now, and I'm so happy about that, honestly.
I am too. I agree.
Yeah, and like even now, like there's a couple of different artists here in the States too that are like making their own like magical girl manga and like comic books and stuff. Like I know that Bree Chibi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Brianna.
Yeah, and then that's what I was gonna say.
Adorned by Chi,
Adorned by Chi. Yes,
there,
my
thank
book
you.
is there.
Was the name. It was here. I've got one for shirts. I was like, Adorned by Chi. Yeah. And so I do recommend, if people in the comments, if you're looking to check out some like current like Black women that are putting out these really good shoujo like magical girl inspired comic books right now, there are those like out there right now. Adorned by Chi, Bree Chibi, which I just tweeted.
Yep, it's Magnifique Noir. is the
Thank
name
you.
of her book
Yes.
series. It's really good.
I super recommend it. And also, like, I know that I talk a lot of like, you know, young adult graphic novels in the States. If you people in the comments are a big fan of First Second, the publisher, I think a lot of you would like a lot of shoujo manga too. Because a lot of like we haven't really talked much about like slice of life, but there's a lot of really good slice of life books that are really worth reading too. So I was wondering if you had any favorites like of that, and let me know if I'm commandeering like the conversation or like leading it too much. But I know you guys probably came with your own ideas of recommendations too.
Recommendations. You know, I really do miss, like, there for a while, Harlequin was getting into the manga industry here in the US, and they release like Harlequin like manga. I actually really miss these. Did you guys ever read them?
No.
Oh man. So they're just like little like romance, like one had a genie, one was like a vampire, and of course you have like the multimillionaire and stuff, but they're just like Harlequin romances in manga format, and it was so great. But they were like very down to earth, like what your grandma would read, just in manga format.
I'm down.
Oh.
Yeah, I would I'd read the crap out of those.
Miss these. They weren't produced for that long. It was Dark Horse that actually did these.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I know the publisher Dark Horse. Yes.
Yeah.
That's
so
hilarious.
I'm trying to find a year on these, but like I wish we had more just like run of the mill slice of life little stories, because you'd have one like that was like a genie, and then another one that was just like this multimillionaire or cop or something. My wife brings in more like my real beautiful boyfriend.
It's like
Three Wishes is a genie one.
That's funny. It's like the books you see like at the grocery store in the magazine aisle that like that you kind of like sneak and read as you shop.
It just sounds
No
like every
embarrassment.
anime
I
like
picked them up.
phone dating sim game ever.
I
You
mean,
know?
exactly. I mean, these were great. I'm trying to find the published date, but it's not on here. I want to say it was early aughts, because it's yellowed in here. Man, The Stranger, there's one about a thief. Like, come on.
Why do you have these?
Because I'm that type of person.
I need to find these. Because I'll definitely order all of them and read them.
I love
Next time if I go to a
romance
con and
manga,
it's
though.
not COVID, I'll stuff in my purse and I'll be like, here you go.
Yes.
Like nothing beats growing up and like getting really into like a romantic manga series, like, you know, like Skip Beat or Ouran High School Host Club or or what, Kami-sama Kiss. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Oh my
Those
god.
are memories.
This right here. Like, if it's supernatural, I'm going to buy it, guys. Like, especially if it has like a fox spirit. That's like my thing.
Oh, don't even get me started on like the fox spirit stuff and whatever, because Inuyasha was like my jam as a teenager, and I had a problem.
Inuyasha counts.
But there's
Anything
two.
Rumiko
There's two.
Takahashi.
Shomaru, please.
Oh, I had a problem. Like, my mom would be so embarrassed to like walk through the mall with me, and I had on like my Inuyasha shirt, like my trip pants, and she's just like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "I love him, Mom. He has ears."
You're either an Inuyasha stan or you're like the Sesshomaru. Like,
Not
there's
girl,
Yes,
both.
definitely Shishomaru. Well, I love
read all
Shishomaru
that fan
too.
fiction.
I think everyone likes Shomaru.
I don't know. I was Team Koga, so I
Really?
couldn't. Yeah, I was girl. I was. Team
Okay.
Koga.
Yeah.
So if we talking Yasha, we've got to talk Rama one half.
right.
Oh, I didn't get into Ranma one half.
Oh,
It's
it's
not
so
too late.
good.
It's so good. Like,
I'm
she
gonna have to
doesn't
read
know
that.
how to end a series,
No, she
but
doesn't.
it's just a love triangle that goes on and on and on. But
It
it's
does.
really good.
Isn't that with the? Is that the manga with the panda?
Yeah.
Yes,
Change
okay.
the gender all the time.
Yes. Okay.
That's why the good thing about her manga or anime series is that I never feel guilty if I don't finish it. Because I know that
Yeah.
she can't. So if I watch 2 or 3 seasons or I read however many volumes, I'm like, I put in the work. I enjoyed what it was. I'm done.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like when you can get into it every single time you watch it over and over and over again. It's something new. It's something interesting, and it's oh my goodness. Because I literally was just watching Ramen One Half the other day again, and I was like, oh man, I love this. It's funny. It's romance. It's entertaining. It's like you said, it's the never-ending love triangles, but you enjoy it. You know,
You enjoy it.
enjoy it.
It's like easy watching. And honestly, like stuff like that is great to read right now. Man, I gotta stop doing shows like it's really rough out here, guys. We know what we really but for real though, like something lighthearted like that, it can be really nice. And shoujo can do that for you. And it doesn't. There's a range, of course. You're gonna run into some stuff that could be real serious, but like a lot of shoujo tends to be lighthearted, like My Love Story with Takeo and
Oh, I love that one. That is my absolute favorite.
Now, Nocturne has a good question. Have any of you seen My Hime?
No, I haven't. But I do Hime Lolita if that counts.
Why not?
I remember
he
a little bit of it. I only watched, I think, almost the first season of it. I only remember like the girl. It's kind of still like a magical girl genre approach. So it's just one girl. I forgot she had powers and stuff like that. She meets one with a smaller girl, and then it was a taller girl. I forgot, and then they're fighting. I don't remember so much of it, but it was so.
I know it's been a long time. Like she finds a sword. Like I vaguely remember some things about it. Like there's a sword involved and stuff, but I'm like, I've watched it, but it's been so long. It's an older one.
Yeah, it is.
I forget stuff all the time. Sometimes I'll go back to restart an anime or manga and then realize partway through that I've already read it. Because I think a lot of us had age where we could watch or read all this stuff for free easily online. We can now, but with more viruses. But for a while, I was on onemanga.com and I just read everything in the shoujo section. But I would read it too fast and then not remember that I'd read it before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is the problem, I mean, older titles always were in English, and now they refer them to the Japanese titles, and I'm like, what is that again?
Boys Over Flowers.
Yeah, Boys Over Flowers. So,
so good. One of the classics. I think everyone's seen that one. It's one of the classics.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Every iteration of that.
Yes, I've seen the Korean version. I've seen the anime, read the manga. Oh my, Japanese. It's just. I think everyone's seen it.
I think Boys Over Flowers is also a starting point for a lot of people who might be younger than we are into kind of the magical girl genre, or at least the slice of life genre, because for us, Sailor Moon came out in the early 90s. So we were, 6-7 years old, figuring out this is what we want, and then seeing as this genre evolved and it came out on more outlets Korean, the Korean dramas that people were really into 4 or 5 years ago. I was totally into them. And then,
oh my God.
And then Tumblr culture, where a lot of this really blew up and a lot of things were shared like that. I think Boys Over Flowers was definitely a start for a lot of people.
Yeah, it was. I think when I think about a lot of shoujos and everything like that, a lot of people will say Sailor Moon or Boys Over Flowers, or they'll say Card Captor Sakura. They'll say some of the things that that comes to mind. Say we like Nana as well, like the Joe say.
Definitely Nana.
When you think about what you think about. Also, Orange High School, I forgot. That's one of the other ones that a lot of people talk about. It's like when you think about shoujo, what do you think about? And those are some of the ones that a lot of people will mention.
They always do the love story, the Fushigi Yugi, the Oran Host Club, especially the older titles where it was sort of the reverse harem, manga and animes, and there are so many. And I think it's branched out now. And we actually got a good question from Matthew. Oh, nope, that's the wrong one. Is School Live a shoujo? Did you guys ever watch or read School Live?
I didn't personally.
I don't know what it is.
Okay, spoilers. You think the very first episode, like I know we're talking about manga, but the very first episode is all these schoolgirls, like they're getting together, they're having fun. It's this cutesy opening, and then zombies, world apocalypse happens.
Yeah, I looked up and it says horror fiction.
I
mean-
Well then,
It just went from 0 to 100 real quick. Like, oh.
yeah, 0 to
Well,
yeah, absolutely.
it's cute and it's not, because like one of the girls, it's how she's suffering from PTSD basically, and she sees everything like how it was before the zombie apocalypse, like everything's nice and sweet and oh, that's my friends, and the rest of the girls have to protect her because she's living in this fantasy world and they see the reality of it. So I definitely would recommend it. It's 'tis the season, since it's spooky season. But
that is a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard that one. I'll check it out. I'm trying to think if I've like read or watched any like lately, because I'm trying to think of like, I know what all we kind of like grew up on, manga wise. Like I think we probably all read a lot of the same stuff. But what are the youngins? What shoujo are the youngins reading? Because I know that Oran continues to come back. I don't know how it.
Yeah, it's kind of like it ebbs and flows. It's
just never left.
I don't know what ignites that spark.
I would say a lot of people. I would say a lot of people, when I did the Princess Jellyfish Tsumi cosplay, a lot of people, they were young people was like, I got into Princess Jellyfish when I was younger, and I'm like,
how old are you?
So it's like, I guess we're like, even their parents, like our age and stuff like that, maybe like their like when we become parents and stuff, we be watching stuff like our kids be watching stuff we've been watching the stuff that's in the early 2000s. So I would say, yeah, agree. Or in high school, it continues onward. Fruits Basket, I was remake and everything. Pop Captain Sakura, so everything is just, even Sailor Moon's coming out with that last chapter, so it's just a continuation.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the reboots too, like Ebby said, well, I wouldn't call them reboots, but sometimes like continuations, like Cardcaptor Sakura Clear Card, because like we were watching Sakura in the 90s, and now we have so many more younger cosplayers and younger anime manga nerds who are getting into Sakura because of Clear Card. And it's also going for Sailor Moon too, because a lot of them may not have started with the original. They've seen Crystal. So just personally, I'm not a fan of Crystal. I have thoughts and feelings about it. So, but I do appreciate that they stuck to the story. But I'm a fan of like Sailor Moon, like Monster of the Day, because that's what kept me hype at like 7 years old. Anyway, but I think that especially with the reboots like Fruits Basket, there's the nostalgia for us at our age, and then you have the teenagers and people who are in their early 20s who are seeing a lot of this for the first time, and then will discover the original. I think there's another element of magic to that, is that you're seeing something that has been rebooted from another studio or another, there are other voice actors in it, and then you will watch it. The younger people will watch it, and then you'll have that. They'll understand the nostalgia that older anime fans have. So I just think that's really exciting, and I find it really, really cool that a lot of younger weebs, I guess, quote unquote, are following in our footsteps and seeing that, seeing the magic and feeling that spark that we had seeing a reboot that they may have watching what we absolutely loved for the first time.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And like, even like retro anime is like a style, like, and say retro, like 90s, right?
That's retro. That's all.
I mean, it's 25 years old. I mean,
everyone's like, okay, 80s, 90s anime, but make it vaporwave and like cute and it's just like everywhere, and it's really fun. And I've seen people, like younger people, go back and rewatch, like reread older anime like Cutie Honey or Creamy Mommy. Like people have gone back like, what? And I'm so glad, because it's so accessible now, which makes
like finding all the items and stuff like that. Like Doremi supposed to come out for their 20-year anniversary. I wanted to get one of the wands a few years ago, it's $300 on eBay. So I said, well, I can wait until it comes be released or something.
Yeah, they'll re-release that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys, but my cat just climbed on top of my cosplay closet. I think there's a bug in here, and I'm gonna get him down because I
You're
think
good.
he's gonna like fly
you're
onto my
fine.
computer.
Take some time.
Please get down, please.
So we have a question from John.
Mhm.
In y'all opinions, what shoujo is the best drama that pulls you in like those daytime soap operas?
Oh,
I have an answer for this, but I'll let you guys go ahead.
I was trying to think of a more recent like manga anime. Was it From Me to You? Is that the title? It's like Kimi
Kimi no Todoke?
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
Kimi no Todoke.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's so
Yes.
good.
That
It
one.
is.
Oh,
It's
yes.
very cute.
It's very cute and it's very sort of like as the world turns, but you know, it's that whole blossoming thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, I really recommend that for anyone in the chat who hasn't heard of it. Yeah, From Me to You or Kimi ni Todoke. It's an
Yeah.
anime. It's a manga. I'm sure it's a live action by
It's
now.
live action,
but-
yeah.
Yeah,
it is live
Okay.
action.
I think correct me if I'm wrong. I think there was a Korean drama of Kimi no Todoke.
I wouldn't be
think
surprised.
yeah, I think there was.
Yeah.
But it's a really shy girl is misunderstood. They say she looks like she's from The Ring.
Yeah, long
And
hair and
she
stuff like that.
absolutely makes
Like she's a doll with a
friends.
cookie doll.
It's so good. So at least you walked away. So I'll bring up the question again. So the question from John was, in your all's opinion, what shoujo is the best drama that pulls you in, like a daytime soap opera?
Oh, that's a good question.
I know you can think about any that
I
has
can say mine
become-
while you're thinking if you want.
Yeah, go ahead because I'm over here like Jeopardy theme going through my head here.
Mars. There's a manga
Oh.
called Mars that's that for me.
Oh
It's
my God, I
always been
read
that
it.
for me.
Mars.
Oh my goodness. Yes, it's. Go ahead, Maddie. Go ahead.
It is-
I always said a few volumes, but it's so.
I don't even know how to describe it, but it's so dramatic. Like, and I don't even know if I can really remember the entire plot or anything, but there is also a Taiwanese drama of it, which is also very good.
Ooh, that sounds interesting.
And there's something so mature about it that I really loved because they dealt with like really like tough themes and really real themes. And the art of it is just beautiful. I don't even know what else she's done, but that manga still sits with me really heavily, and I really recommend it to people. And I think I always see it pop up at like half price books. So if you're over there and you're like, well, I'm gonna check out the first volume, definitely recommend it.
I don't think I have one, honestly. Just because I love everything, and there wasn't really one for me that I read that was like total drama that I was really engrossed in. Because I didn't collect a whole lot of manga growing up. I watched a lot of the shows. So I guess for me it was Sailor Moon because there was just always Monster of the Day. There was always something. So
Which
that
is
was it.
fair.
That was it for me.
I cried so hard all the time in the anime,
Yep, me too. Me too.
especially with the English soundtrack and Rainy Day Man. And I've got that CD in my car.
For me, it's like Alicia was saying, it's kind of hard for me to figure. Kind of like pretty much love everything. One of my favorite ones. It's not really more of a slice of life, but Fushigi Yugi is one of my absolute favorite ones of everything. I kid you not. I remember I even pre-ordered the
Gimbu?
I pre-ordered this when it came out, and I was like, I'm so happy because I remember when some people uploaded the chapters online and everything like that before she published it and made it as a pre-order for the first volume, and I was excited because when I first watched it for Shugi Yugi, I see this girl. She's she's down to be the second Suzaku priestess, and she goes into this world, this book. She meets like reverse Harlem type of approach and everything like that, and then her friend gets sucked in before her, but things happen. So with you go back until like later on in the series, Miyaka actually encounters like the past two priestess, Byakuya, which is the one that currently came out, and Gimbu, and it goes into like where they actually in Byakuya, even with Gimbu, they go to like real life events. So Susuno is the current heroine in the Byakuya version where her parents actually get killed, both of her parents. And she's only 8 years old when she gets sucked up into the book. So what happened was her dad told her not to go in the book, never to read this book because it's not for women's eyes to see. So she's bound to this book. She's destined to go in this book. So one day, like I told you, an earthquake happens in Tokyo and her parents gets killed. And the last thing her father had told her, just go in the book. There'll be people there to help you. So she gets it beforehand. I remember on Tumblr back in 2014, they made a prequel of it. And it goes on until like the antagonist when you see until the Byakuya book. So right now, hopefully she makes, later on makes the manga. I'm still wait. I'm wait to the end of time because I love this. I love this heroine. She's my favorite. Ever since she was mentioned in the in like Gimbu, and she was mentioned in the anime back in like 2000 or something with Miyaka and Yue, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna wait. So the Shugi is always gonna have a place in my heart because, like I said, it's more it's magical, but also it deals with a lot of life situations as well in it. So that's me.
Man, that new one sounds so good.
It is.
John, perfect timing.
Has been
Yes.
Yes, actually.
Yes, I love the Shugi. Oh my goodness, so good.
Oh man.
Yes.
Meow just mentioned Paradise
Kiss.
which is made by Seikoji Nana.
Okay, so yes and no. I do Lolita, and most of my Lolita fashion is gothic, and I know that Paradise Kiss is mostly like classic and sweet. So, but I read the manga growing up, and I loved the outfits, and so I always wanted the big frilly skirts and the cute little like tea party shoes and the like hime hair and everything. And so that was kind of the introduction for me into my early 20s. Into Lolita fashion. So to answer your question, yes.
I discovered Paradise Kiss after I was into Lolita. It was kind of like the vice versa, but I liked how Paradise Kiss showcased Lolita as even though she was wearing something sweet and stuff, she had very adult problems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like not. Oh god, yeah, yes.
See, Kamikaze Girls is what introduced that to me.
Mm.
Yes.
The movie. I never read the books or anything, but to me, that's one of my favorite, like, it's one of my favorite Japanese movies of all time. Kamikaze Girls with your Yankee delinquent and your Lolita girl best friend.
I love that the Yankee is like, your father makes mashups like that? That's so cool.
And she's the emotional one. Whereas the Lolita girl's like, I have no emotions, I care about nothing. I just want to eat sweet things, look beautiful till I die. Love it. Oh, man.
Oh, we had an interesting question up. Let me find it.
By the way, we got so many compliments on how beautiful we all are.
I know.
So.
Do you think YA and manga is the future of comics? They seem more popular with new young audiences. That's a good question. I know this is primarily like a comics channel now. Omar does a lot of comics and stuff, but I don't know. I think manga is a sort of gateway for a lot of kids into the comic industry. Yeah. YA, I still as an adult read YA novels. So yeah, why not?
I also think that now that anime is more mainstream than it was like 10 or 15 years ago, people are getting more interested in reading the mangas for the shows that they're watching and wanting to kind of fast pass and get ahead because like right now, My Hero Academia, people are getting caught up on the manga, even though the show is a little bit behind. So, and that show is incredibly popular right now with everybody in every age range. Yeah. And so I think with the mass popularization of anime, people are drifting towards the books as well.
Yeah. Because you can't get access to no manga scans online back in 2006.
Yep.
Well, we all had to do what we had to do. Yep. But yeah, I didn't touch a comic book when I was a kid, and I read a lot of manga.
Yeah.
I just think it's accessible.
Yeah.
I think it's accessible.
It's accessible now.
Well, I think it was then too, though. Like,
I remember no manga growing up.
I remember Books A Million for me. Books A Million. Books
It was the
yeah.
library for me because the library had a huge young adult section that had
Yeah.
a huge wall of manga, and they had every volume of like 12 or 13 series. So I would go and
Yeah,
sit
you're right.
at the library
That's how
and
I got
read.
into it as well.
And because my mom's was the kind of person that's like, you're gonna read that book once and then you're gonna throw it away, and I'm like, no, I'm not. Excuse me. The library was
Check
where.
this out again and again.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah,
would
my
read
wife
them
works for
on
a
the way
library.
home
Yeah.
from like
Yeah.
the store. My dad would be like, "Okay, you can pick out one book," and I was like, "I'll buy the newest issue or thing of like Love Hina," and then I would read it before we got home.
Yep.
It's like, well, what was the point? And I'm like, I'll read it again, or I'll draw from it, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
But I think like I think for a lot of younger people, the types of content you see in YA or manga is what they want to see. I
Mhm.
think like I don't want to say it's progressive. It's not progressive. I think it's just with the times.
Right.
You know, I think
It's relevant.
it's real
relevant.
stories, and it's meant for that. It's not really meant for them, but I think it's meant for a wider audience. I know
Yeah.
if I go and I read a young adult graphic novel, I'm gonna find something diverse. I'm gonna
Yeah.
find something with a message that I can appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
And usually the story's better self-contained than a comic book, and I love comics. But a manga is told by one person
Mhm.
and one writer and one artist the whole time.
Yeah.
That's something you can trust.
Well, I think that, like getting to what you had said, it's a little bit more palatable. And Alicia had said that My Hero Academia is so popular with the kids now, and that's more of a comic style manga. So it's very easy to digest. There's not a lot of
you're
there's
right. It's both.
semi-adult themes. It's just easier to digest. It's not so much of a romantic, like sexualized,
Right.
like thing that comics have really become, like with real super deep problems. There's problems, but it's easier to digest. I don't know how to say that better, but it is really easy to digest.
I feel the same. Even like a Junji Ito book, I'm like, this is just comfort reading. It should not be. It's comfort reading.
I just hopefully one day, well, not one day, but we can like hopefully josei anime and manga actually become more like, I can't say normalized, but more popular and stuff like that, because we only, in top of my hands, we only know a few because of the animes, but there's so much out there. Princess Jellyfish, I think she made this manga before she made it or after. It's called Tokyo Bana Girls or something like that. And
Yeah.
it started off so good, but by the end of the first volume, I was like, oh no, I don't like it. But it was good because all of them are in their 30s. This is a josei, and they're all in their 30s. Trying to figure out what they wanted to do, what if happens, would this happen, and they're not really living their life to the full potential. And then it started off so well because you can kind of relate to that a little bit. One of the girls, she's like a producer or a movie script producer, and a dude had confessed, like, oh, I like you and everything. Like a few years ago, she was in her 20s, and then now she's in her 30s, and he was asking for advice, and she was like, well, maybe he wanted to ask me out again. But come to find out, he liked the 19-year-old coworker. So,
Yeah.
like I said, by the end of the first, like, it was really good, but by the end of the first volume, I was like, oh no, I don't know anymore. But it's pretty good. It's really good to start off. It was so good. I was like, oh my god, it's something that I can sit here and actually enjoy. And I was like, oh, let me skim to the reviews. Let the credits roll. But it wasn't bad. Some people actually enjoy it. But me, it wasn't my tea as of right now.
Like you mentioned Princess Jellyfish, and like, I can't help but think about some series, like manga series, like that did become anime, like Sweetness and Lightning or Flying Witch or My Love Story. I can keep naming a bunch of them that don't get any more than a season.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, and I'm a big shonen anime fan too. Like I love One Piece a lot. Ebby also does, as you can see. And those go on forever. My Hero Academia is going to go until it's done. Same with like a lot of other like long-running popular anime we've seen before. Seven Deadly Sins, blah, 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 blah. But shoujo doesn't usually get the chance to continue until it's like completion.
Yeah, it's usually one and done, or at most.
Yeah,
at
yeah.
most 2
That's
seasons.
a good, like, oh, yeah, high school was so good, and then it's like,
Done.
no, that's it. And then it was so popular, people still talk about it to this day, and it's like, no, let's go something else. And
Yeah.
man, a really good, valid point. That is a good point, because Pretty Jellyfish only got like what 12, 13 episodes, and
Yeah, that's it.
manga's been finished. You know.
You know, I don't have the answers.
Yeah, I don't have an answer for that.
People
That's a
should read
really
more
good.
shoujo manga.
I remember one of my friends, she got me well, it's like I was in high school, and there's an old friend of mine, she got me into more of like, this is where is it? I have it. I never got into she said it was so good. I think it's like Red River. It's like an older one.
Oh yeah, so I read this one, and I liked it, but it was kind of weird. It read more like a manhwa than like a manga. There was something a little just off about it.
Yeah.
I actually sold all my copies.
And I can't even touch I love Korean manga, but at the same time, that shit's ridiculous. Like shoujo genre of like Korean manga is just as outrageous as like Korean dramas are, and it's always like this girl, she's good at fighting, but then she meets a guy who's better at fighting her than her, and like she's always getting kidnapped, and he's always gonna fight him. Every one of them is the same thing. Every one of them. No. I did miss a question, but earlier on, someone in the chat asked if you guys had any. This is semi-related, but not related. Any like web comics that you recommend?
Lore Olympus. Sorry, Lore Olympus.
That's terrible.
I'm obsessed.
I actually, like, I bought 10 coins for the next 2 chapters. So
yes, my husband and I fast pass every Sunday. Look, or every Saturday. Look, 9:00. My husband is like, Lore Olympus.
So for those of you that, if you couldn't hear, through the excited yelling, she was recommending Lore Olympus, which is on Webtoon.
Yeah,
it's very good.
It's great. Hades is bae, and
Oh,
so
man.
is Hecate. I love her so much.
I know this one just came out, and it's called Suitor Armor. It just came out. Yes, that's actually pretty interesting. And Let's Play. One of our friends
Let's Play.
Yeah.
Yeah. My husband also, he's read Let's Play, and he really, really likes it. I just started it, so I think I'm on episode like 7. So
I've got to catch up. I let that stuff build up.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I took on Lore Olympus in a day. Because like a girl I was going to shoot with at Youmacon, back when Youmacon could happen, she's like, I'm going to do this. Like, have you read it? I was like, oh no, but I'll check it out. And that copy of the day, I was like, what do I do now? But I do want to read Suitor Armor really bad. Thank you for bringing it up, because it's so cute looking.
Lore Olympus.
Also another one is Midnight Poppyland. I haven't read the recent chapters, but that one's pretty good too. That's pretty as well. Midnight Poppyland.
I need to do like a Webtoon show and talk about Webtoons, so it'll give me an excuse to catch up and read everything.
Lore Olympus.
So send me all your recommendations.
Lore Olympus.
Justin, I would call Wolf Children a shoujo and a slice of life.
I would say it's both.
So
Yeah,
Definitely both.
I cried.
Yeah, and extra sad. So sad.
His titles are excellent. His titles are A Girl to Leap Through Time, Summer Wars, Wolf Children, The Boy and the Wolf.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
Summer Wars.
Excellent titles. Excellent.
Digimon the movie. Very good.
Only you, Maddie.
I don't care. I love Digimon the movie.
No, it's
I
really
like the 90s soundtrack. It's fine. So normally I would just go on for an hour, but because there's another show at 8, I will cut it short. But I do want to say a big thank you to all you guys for coming on. Also, just so I can hang out with you. Not that I have to make an excuse like this, but it helps because like people in the chat don't know, but like usually I see Alicia and Ebby at cons, and that's when we get to really hang out, and we don't have that. And that used to be kind of the way I'd mark my year.
Yeah.
Because that's how I see my friends. And like now I don't, and I'm like, oh,
Don't forget, I'm only an hour and like 45 minutes away from you.
I know.
I'm
Hey,
12 hours by bus.
I'm gonna have a house soon, apparently. So
Yeah.
you can come over.
Hey!
I'm an adult. What am I gonna put in there? I don't know.
I feel like some creeper. I just stalk everybody online. I'm like, oh, who's posting that on Instagram?
Gina, I
Comment.
still love your TikTok. I was like, how do you do? I was like, how she do TikTok?
That's how I am too. I'm just on Facebook, like scrolling. I'm like, oh, like. This is how I keep up with people during the
Yeah.
pandemic.
Yeah.
Right, because I know what's going on with everybody because I'm still like checking everybody's stuff, even if I'm not saying anything. And then
Right.
I that's weird that I'm like, oh yeah, I saw that you posted about this thing like 3 weeks ago. So what's the?
Yeah, sorry I stalk you guys. Like I stalk Ebby on like TikTok. I was like, hey, I found you.
And then I'm like, and then I know
You're like, do
TikTok
I know you?
That's
I
okay.
should-
There she go. Oh my goodness. I need to make more TikToks, but I'm just so I just lost it for a little second. Like I don't it's like I call it the doldrums type of thing. I don't have any type of
Everybody.
motivation.
Oh
Every
yeah, pandemic. I'm not doing shit.
I feel that. I haven't created any content. I got 2 new cosplays during the pandemic. I got Tiana and I got Ochiko, and I'm like, oh, I see my husband has a camera, I can just shoot this real quick and just put some things on the internet, and then I just sat in the cosplay as soon as it came out of the bag, and I was like,
You're like, I'm done.
yeah, I was like, I'm gonna hang this up.
I think I was in my I was in one of my I was shooting Sakura, and then my mom had brought home Subway, and I was just sitting on the floor eating the Subway. I was like, man, this sounds just like the con vibe. I'm sitting there, like, okay, con vibe, sitting in and out.
I would do anything.
That's realistic.
Try not to
too.
get anything on your cosplay. You're just like eating.
I just want to be like drunk
You're like, who
and
needs
in
cons
my
anymore?
costume at 2 a.m.
Yep.
drinking something suspicious out of a coffee cup from the hotel room
Yep.
and just sitting in a lobby with my friends.
Yep. Or in a kigurumi like on Sunday, and you're incredibly hungover, and you just want to hit the dealer's room before your like 6-hour drive home.
I've definitely spotted Lisha like
I miss
way
those.
hungover at like I probably at OhioCon or MatsuriCon at like the international market. And it's
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, it was OhioCon, and I was definitely in my kigurumi, and Maddie was like, "Hey," and I'm just like,
don't deceive me. I'm just trying to get my donuts and get out of here.
"Oh, I remember that. I was a hot mess."
I don't know how people wake up on Sunday morning doing a shoot and so refreshed. I tried a few times and I was like, okay, this ain't gonna work like that.
You know
I
what?
Gotta go work tomorrow morning.
There have been many conventions where I'm like, oh, let me go ahead and get it 8 or 9 o'clock on a Sunday. I'll get up and get pretty, and then I'll go back to my room and I'll take all this shit off, and then I'll just run around in like leggings and some anime t-shirt I bought on Friday night, and then I'll just text my photographer. I'm like, you can keep this money. I'm not coming in. I'll be like, I'm tired. You can just keep the 60 here. It's a tip.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, like it's
I'm
Subasa.
so sorry.
I was supposed to shoot my Super Sailor Neptune, and I had this beautiful spot, and my photographer actually texted me, and he was like, hey, so I'm really hungover, and I'm like, that's fine, I'm going to Panera, see you later, bye. Keep the money out
Good.
there. Yeah, I was like,
photographer,
I
I
miss-
never mind. I'm just like,
I
yeah,
miss-
cool.
I really miss going to the cons, and for some reason, like my makeup has gotten so much better. So you at the con, and you like, my shoot's in 10 minutes, and then you put everything on, and you're rushing out the door, and you're late. You're like, oh, for some reason, I'm like, I missed that, but I don't
like
miss
heels
that.
in your hand and like props in the other.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yep.
I remember,
yeah.
like, I
Thank
walked
you,
out the
Tina.
door with my Eclipse cosplay, and then the wind. I kid you, makeup looked good. The wind did like this, and then my lipstick got to my yoke, and it was right there. I was like, I just stepped out the door. I said, never again. And it was white too, so you couldn't see it. But luckily, my
Photoshop.
photographer actually blurred it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, she blurred it out for me. I was like,
Photoshop.
All right, guys. I love you all so much. Let's please do this again.
We gotta catch up again.
And people in the chat, come back in like 4 minutes. I'll be here again.
I will. I'll watch.
Give you enough time to hopefully grab a milkshake that's arrived. I hope.
Oh.
I love you both so much. Thank you guys so much for hanging out.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Bye.
I love you guys.
Love you guys.